So are we like? I'm not sure about the settings, the way you have the settings, because you need to bring your screen down. So hi. So
We're
Tiffany,
live.
we're on your page right now. Hi.
Hi.
So Tiffany and Deja. Since we're on Tiffany's page, we're going to let Tiffany introduce us to her followers while we get ourselves going over to our pages.
Okay. Hey, everyone. You all, this is Thursday Night Live. It's a little bit different tonight. Normally, I do not talk about entrepreneur, which is funny because I am an entrepreneur. But tonight, we have two guests on tonight. And our guest is first, we're going to start off with Alfreda Moore. And then we're also going to start off with Deja Hurd as well. And before we get started, we do a little Thankful Thursday. So in between this conversation, if you want to say something that you're thankful for, go ahead and do that. And then we want to get straight into it. So I'm going to allow Alfreda Moore to go ahead and introduce herself, and then we'll pass the mic to Dejanay.
Awesome. I am Alfreda Moore, Alfreda Jones Moore. I'm a financial professional with New York Live. On with my nieces, Tiffany and Dejanay. Dejanay, you look like you're you're a little frightened tonight.
No, not frightened. Just I don't know what to expect. I ain't frightened.
I know you're not. You're a talker, but yeah. So wanted to come on and talk about entrepreneurship. I have a group that's a Business and Professional Women's Federation. I'm a president over that for our jurisdiction, which is a group of women, and also for our national, the membership and recruitment chair. So I wanted to make sure that we talk about entrepreneurs. Being this is small women's small business international month. So that's me, and we'll get we'll talk later in a minute.
Okay, so I'm Deja. I recently started getting into designing and making clothes. Not too much into it as of now. I guess you could say it's kind of more of a hobby. I'm trying to turn it into a business. And yeah, that's what I do.
All right, so yeah, let's just hop right into it. So here's the thing.
I was like, well, I didn't
Go
go.
ahead, Tiffany. I'm sorry.
Let me introduce myself.
Okay, so go ahead. Yeah.
But
Go ahead,
ladies,
Tiffany.
we are live, so you can also share to your page. So welcome again, everyone that's on here. Hi, Angela. We're the Hurd family. We have our cousin Angela. So say hi to her, ladies.
Hey.
Hey, Angela.
So again, my name is Tiffany Hurd, and I am a multifaceted entrepreneur. And then we can also get into how we even got into entrepreneurship. And we may pass it to Auntie Frida because she's knows what our family tradition is and probably why we're all entrepreneurs at this point. But I am an author of two books, Hues of Africa and Hues of HBCU. So definitely go check those out. And then I also host group trips to Rosarito, Mexico, and to Ghana. There is still room for Ghana, so definitely join us. And a bunch of other things, social media influencer, YouTuber, blogger, and the list goes on. So many of your page, you kind of know these things. But this conversation is all about entrepreneurship. You know, I've been posting this week, been posting about your worth and different things like that. So this is how that conversation came about. So I'm going to pass it over again to Alfreda and maybe start off kind of what our family is like and how we ended up in entrepreneurship.
Absolutely. So thanks for that, Tiffany. And typically, when I do these things, I'm kind of kind of like leading the conversation and things like that. But Tiffany and I were having a conversation, and yeah, our family really is. And Tiffany, you're off camera again, but our family really is an entrepreneurial family. We have entrepreneurs from, I don't know, my dad was a caterer. My mom, sews. Her dad was an entrepreneur, business owner. We have cousins who are in the NFL. We have, just an array of everybody. And it's like it's in our blood. But Tiffany and I had a conversation last night, and I thought it was a really great conversation. We have plans to have her on something else. And then Deja comes along, and Deja is, I promise you, she is a designer extraordinaire. It's in her blood. My mom, designed and made clothes with that, made her own patterns. And so Deja and I did the same thing. But honestly, what we want to talk about tonight is do you know your audience? Because it's one thing to be an entrepreneur, but it's another thing to succeed. So is it a hobby for you? Is it a side hustle for you? Is it an actual business for you? And we just want to encourage you to make sure that you know who your audience was, specifically, especially because a lot of times we think that people that are closest to us and our family ought to be our biggest supporter and the people that patronize us the most. And that's typically not the case. So we just want to talk about that. We want to talk about, how do you figure that out? We want to talk about how do you know your worth? Because as Tiffany posted earlier, sometimes people will take advantage of you, not understanding that your time is probably the most valuable thing that you have. Yeah, the product is great, but your time is worth way more than that. Sometimes my time can yield, a couple of $1,000s an hour, and at other times it yields maybe 30, but we don't want to sell ourselves short in this game. And then the other thing is, when do you level up your game? When do you perfect your craft and level up your game? When is enough perfecting so that you can level up? Or do you just level up and perfect your game as you go? So those are some of the things that we want to kind of talk about.
So I want to touch on the topic of who is your audience. So let's take a step back in terms of our family, okay? So I must say that let's give a hand clap to our family. Shout out to the Heard family. They are usually very supportive, right? But let's say I guess the question is, and you guys can answer it as well. Do you feel like your family should support you in your entrepreneurship endeavors? So let's pose that question first.
Okay.
I wouldn't say they should per se, but I definitely feel like it's a boost of encouragement when they do, because that's, of course, going to be your first target audience. I feel like just off bat, you talk to your family before you go put it out in the world. You'll go to them like, oh, how y'all feel about it? So if they support you, be like, oh, yeah, okay, so I know I got something. So I don't think they have to, because I'm going to go for me personally. I feel like the stuff I do design and make, most of my family probably will not wear or will not. It's not, that's not their style or whatever. So I don't expect them to support, but like you said, our family is good with that. They still like, oh, well, can you do something like this for me? Like, they still try to support. So I do appreciate that. But I definitely don't think that they should. I mean, that you should expect it, rather. Like, it depends on what you got it. Because if you can't make somebody buy, just because it's, you know what I'm saying, just because his family want them to support. I don't think you can make somebody buy nothing or want to purchase it or want to support unless it's something they interested in.
Right. I agree too. I agree that, it's people have a right to do whatever they want to do with their money. Like maybe early on, you get your little feelings hurt because everybody doesn't, patronize you. They support. And somebody made a comment once that support is not just all about purchasing your product. It's about, like Deja said, it's about encouraging you. It's about telling somebody else about what you do. It's about sharing. It's about helping you. It's not always about buying or purchasing your product. And, we really have to understand there's billions of people in this world. So as Deja said, she knows that what she does is not for all of us, But I will say, hey, Deja, can you do this for me?
Like, I have to get a request. It might be on the way.
Right. I keep trying to get her to, let's take this and make it, for me. But yeah, so I just believe that people have a right to do what they want to do with their money. Is their money. So, and another thing too, we have to earn the right, and the trust of people, so I'm a financial professional. Everybody doesn't want to tell me because for me to do effectively for a person what I do, I need to know intricate details of your finances. Otherwise, it's not going to work. So, and people don't always want to tell you that, and, for whatever reason. So.
Absolutely. Ladies, make sure you all share on your page. I sent the link as well so your audience can see it. It's in the private chat. So I was going to say, because we talked about products, right? And so, yes, absolutely, our friends or even our family don't have to support and buy a product. But the question I have for the table is how can they show up and support in other ways, right?
Mhm.
So one of the things I find is, let's say I just created a book. I may go to Deja and say, hey, look at the page, look at the picture I created. What do you think about this? Or what do you think about that? So forms of support could be listening, okay? Because I may have a business idea.
Ooh.
Now, do I recommend, and that's a whole nother story, do I recommend you talk to somebody that's in the business? Absolutely. But can you get opinions from other? Yes. So in terms of listening, I would also say in terms of sharing, if I have a product and you don't want to purchase it, if you just share, that's free. You can do that all day long, right?
Mhm.
Because I noticed too, when you share on social media, other people are like, hey, maybe I am interested in that. Or maybe if I'm not interested, I have a friend that also. So what other ways do you feel like your friends and family could show their support even if they're not purchasing things?
Exactly.
I would
Yeah,
say
go ahead, Dan.
I feel like the support, like just for me, like word of mouth helps a lot. Like, oh, my cousin do this, like that. Like you said, they might not want the product, but they know somebody else who does. Or like you said, social media, just posting it, just a little shout out, a little like all that plays a part into it. That
Mhm.
support, like I appreciate it all. Okay, any little thing helps.
Exactly. Stuff like this, you know what I'm saying? So stuff like this, things like this, we get together and we do stuff like this. This is very helpful. You introduced me to your audience. I introduced you to my audience. I'm always pushing, pushing my audience, inviting you to some of the pages that I do. We tell each, like Deja said, just, I might not, I can only buy one book. I can't buy, a couple of hundred, but I can tell somebody that, hey, my niece has this, or I could, share her over in some of the social media pages that I have. Think of things. And there's just a lot of ways we can support one another, especially as women. You know what I mean? And especially as Black women, especially in some of the spaces that we are, if we don't come together as women, again, this is Women's Small Business Month, and we're talking small business, and it's a hassle and a hustle to be out here as a woman, right? So it just I just find it uplifting and encouraging when women get together and just support one another. Again, there's billions of people in this world. We don't have to fight over anything.
Absolutely. I think there is room for everyone at the table because we all bring something new to the table. And if you are watching right now, please feel free to ask us entrepreneur questions while we're on here. This makes the conversation much more interesting if you guys are asking questions as well. But yes, I think the support is much needed. And the other thing is, like you said, how can I connect you to somebody? How can you connect me to somebody? You never know what we have in common. I've definitely shared Deja's swimsuits, and somebody's like, hey, how could I get this? I'm like, Deja, you got a customer over here, go ahead and follow up on that. And so I think that's the other thing. And this question's on the table too. I often hear that Black people do not support each other enough. You say, oh, okay, maybe Hispanics support each other, but Blacks don't. Do you feel that comment is true? Or do you feel like we are supportive of each other? Now, I know sometimes people feel like they have to hold I can't tell them because, oh, she's going to get in front of me or different things like that. When again, even if we all do the same thing, I make the statement about bread. If you go down a bread aisle, how many breads do you see that's wheat bread? How many breads do you see that's white bread? And I bet you everybody has a preference. So we can all sell bread. The same thing for group trips. I'm doing a group trip to Ghana. There's so many other people I know doing that same exact trip, but I bring something different. So this set of people is going to be with me. This set of people is going to be with that person. Maybe if you like to party, I have a service project. Maybe you don't want to do that service. Maybe you want to party all day. So maybe you don't want to do that. So there is, again, something different from everyone. But the question on the table is, do you feel like as African Americans, do you feel like we support each other like other people do?
I think sometimes. Oh, go ahead, Deja. No, go ahead. I'll say my comment afterwards because I think I'm going to answer a little different.
I won't say they don't, because it gets tricky. I just feel like people support what they want to support. Like, you know what I'm saying? It don't matter the race or anything like that. I just, if it's something you're intrigued in, or you want to have like, or you want to get knowledge of, I feel like you can find people who don't mind. Although you have those people that, you know what I'm saying, try to gatekeep or whatever. But in my experience, I feel like when I have asked somebody something, it was never no like, oh, go figure it out. Like, this is how I done it. It might not be the right way, or this is just how so for me, it was fine. And I feel like I'm the same way. Like, I can tell you, I'm like, I don't know, but I can tell you how I did it. Like, I was anything I learned, I'll be trying to tell it. Like, even my friends and stuff, I'll be like, y'all do this, do that, do that. That's just me as a person, because I know how hard it was, or how hard it is trying to get out there, get your, you know what I'm saying, trying to figure it out, maneuver it by yourself. So anything I feel like I can help with, I don't mind doing it. And I feel like the same way as the people that I talk to, if I ask for it and like if they have knowledge, like it wasn't a struggle trying to get the information.
Right. I agree with that. And I honestly, for me, I agree that, you know, people will say that, and people will say that based on an experience that they might have with one or two people. Like, oh, they didn't support me, or they did this, or they did that. But you have that in any race. You know what I mean? You have people, you know, taking advantage or backbiting one another, or one up in one another in every single race. But what I find is that I don't focus on the negativity, right? Because I've had people to do that to me. I had somebody in a meeting once. We were both there. I was a New York Life agent, and they were there, and they came over to my table, asked me how I was presenting, what my presentation was going to be. And I told them, and they did the presentation exactly like I said I was going to do. But thank God I knew how to pivot, and I knew how to take off on what they said and just keep going. And so things like that happen. I don't take that as we don't support one another. I take that as that's just one shysty, shady person. You know, they could have been one.
I think I would label,
you know what I'm saying?
That's
most definitely.
Yeah, that person was. So, and then I don't focus on that. I just focus on the people who will, because I have plenty of Black women who say, hey, let's get together and do stuff. So I know we hear it all the time, but again, if you focus on that stuff, you're always going to be looking for it. You're going to find it. But if you focus on the ones that will help, you'll find people all the time that will help you. And so because you brought that up, and because of what Deja said, I want to bring this out too. Tiffany said something last night about we were discussing me wanting to do a book, right? And so Tiffany, I was asking, well, Tiffany was saying something about helping me do it if I'm ready. Your point is the way I view it. I give people information, you know, I don't care if they're ready to use it or not, because I figure if I give it to them, they'll use it eventually, or they may not. You know, I don't care. But Tiffany has a different view and a take on that, because I think she sees and values her time a little bit differently. But for me, it's just, hey, let me just tell you, you know.
I was going to say my point too, when we talk about people sharing information, there's two parts that I want to discuss, and I want to discuss know your worth. But before we even move on to that, I want to discuss the importance of having friends and relationships in business, because if you are circulating information, there is no gatekeeping. I have one of my friends, I've gotten into so many different things just literally because of her. So we will literally take walks. We go take, well, I guess I ain't gonna tell you where we take a walk, but we take walks in the community, and we literally, our whole conversation is like, girl, what's going on with you? What's a resource here? And she tells me, I said, Tiffany, you better apply for this. You better apply for that. And I'm like, well, I don't want to apply for this. And I'm like, but I've already applied for a bunch of the opportunities you told me about. Can you be thankful for that? But the point is, I actually listen to what she's saying, and you definitely need other entrepreneurships in your world. And you also need accountability partners. I talk about this all the time. Shout out to Stephanie Perry and Danielle Desir. These were my accountability partners, and they have gone on to do great things. And so I reference them. So I'm asking Alfreda and Deja, do you guys have accountability partners? And what is your... Sorry. What is your... We got a little... Okay, what is your experience if you've ever utilized accountability partners? And do you guys know what that is?
Yeah, before you go there, though, just keep that in mind. One thing I want to address that you said when we talked about this whole giving free of information. One thing I do not do, even though I give my time and my advice very free, don't waste my time. I don't want people coming to me and they don't have any, like, if you're coming to me and you want my advice and you plan on taking that advice and going to somewhere else and patronizing them, but you don't trust what they say, you trust what I say, and you don't trust what they say, and then you go, don't waste my time like that. I don't like that particular piece of it. But you really and truly want information, you want to know how to do stuff, and you're not trying to take advantage of me, cool. But if I find out that you're trying to take advantage of me, don't ever ask me again, because I'm just going to tell you, I'm going to tell you straight up, I don't like what you did, and no, I'm not going to tell you. Go to where you patronize and do that. So that piece I don't. I'm sorry. So go ahead. I just wanted to say that.
Now you brought us here, so we got to stay on this topic, because that's a whole different topic we were discussing. But let's go ahead and stay here, because that goes with knowing your value and your worth, right? This is funny, because if this person watches this live, they'll see I'm talking about them. But the conversation came up the other day about me hosting group trips, and this person wanted information. I did give some information, but they ultimately came back and said, I want 30 minutes of your time. It'll only take 30 minutes of your time. And I want you to literally look at a spreadsheet that I'm going to use to make money. And I said, excuse me? I said, the audacity. I said 30 minutes. If you knew my schedule, you know that I barely have time for myself for 30 minutes. And so that begs the question of, if you're giving out information, do you charge for your information, or do you give out freely? Or what is going to, Deja, her eyes is going all over the place. So Deja, I'm because you look a little like, okay, what's going on? So I'm going to let you answer first. Do you charge people, or do you feel like I'm in the beginning stages of entrepreneur, so I'm not at that stage yet? So I'm going to let you answer that.
I feel like I told Auntie Frida, I'm like, I feel like I need to be on the other side of the conversation, because I'm just getting started. I feel like it's still a lot for me to learn before I can even give out information. That's what I told her. But so with that being said, like I said, any little stuff, if somebody asks me, I really have no problem, because I feel like I'm still learning, as like don't view myself as a professional or as a whatever you want to call it. So any little bit, me personally.
Let me stop you right there, Deja.
Exactly. Stop her right there, Tiffany.
Yes, what you're doing. If you've been doing something for a while, you perfected that, or not even if you're still learning along the way, there you crochet. So a lot of people, again, I think I showed your images to somebody a couple weeks ago, and they're like, oh my God, I want to learn how to do that. Well, you know how to do that. So at that point, you have become the professional and something else that somebody else wants to do. So you have to be okay with saying, I am the professional, because once somebody comes to you, that means you know how to do something that they want. Right. But keep going. I understand your point about you saying you're starting, so I get it, but keep going.
Well, yeah, that was basically it. So like I said, for me, I wouldn't charge, only because I feel like I'm still trying to learn myself. So, and then that's something I'm kind of passionate. I be trying, like I said, I be trying to tell everybody, like, oh girl, do it. Let me show you how to do it. I have not. So me personally, I wouldn't do it.
So here's the thing. I think, and Tiffany might attest to this too, no person in business knows everything. You'll never get to the point where you're not learning, because things are ever changing. So it's like, just like the topic where we're saying, we have on there, perfecting your craft. Your personal development is ongoing every day. So like she said, if you have gotten something that people want, you are the professional, and they don't know how to do it, you are the professional in that area. Don't stop discounting yourself.
Okay.
So you need to stop discounting yourself and charge for it. Because here's the thing, that same thing, if you said, no, I'm not going to do it, they'll go to somebody else and pay much more for it than, you're offering it for. So charge for it. People are willing to pay for it. My mother said something today. She said she called somebody today about a debutante ticket. You guys know about the ticket, right? And so our tickets are $75. But when she called them, they said, oh yeah, sure, I'll support. How much is the ticket? $200? Because that's what everybody else is charging, and here we're afraid to ask for $75. So people will pay for what they want. And if you know how to do it.
You can also start off very small. If you want to say, okay, girl, I'll charge you $20 for a tutor. If you feel like that is what you want to charge because you feel like you need to learn more, you can do that as well. I have an issue with not charging people, but always pricing. I'm like, well, what do I charge? What if they don't want it? But like Auntie Frida said, there are people that will go and pay X amount of money for something. So it's, if you ain't gonna get it, somebody else gonna get it.
Right.
So you might as well. And the reason why I say at this point charging for time is because it took me a lot of time. I was looking for, I do the coloring activity weeks. I still don't know nobody out there that's doing what I'm doing. So because now I have become the expert and I publish 2 books, I know enough to be able to get you in a bookstore. I know enough to be able to get you self-published. So I feel like my fee is very, very low at this point, but y'all catch me next year. So y'all, if y'all listen, y'all better get these consultations, because who knows, the price may go up, you know. So I think it's important, and just because, again, I literally do not have a lot of time at this point because I am doing different things. So again, it's like pricing your value. Could I be, if I weren't talking to them and charging them, could I be working on something else for my business? That's kind of how you have to look at it. And so that can also help to determine your price. And also looking at your competitors. What are your competitors charging? I realized my group trip, I had the same price for 2 years, and my competitors is going up. Why they going up and I'm not? So that is something that we want to make sure that we're looking at to see what our pricing is. And again, if people really want something, they really want the knowledge, they will look at you. I think once I posted that message about I'm charging consultations, I had 2 people in my inbox saying, hey, how much do you charge? Because I want to talk to you. So again, we're afraid to put stuff out there, and the people are probably waiting on it. They're like, when are you going to offer that class? When are you going to offer that talk? When can we set up a time to talk and get this together?
Right. Let's talk about how you know your target audience, because a lot of people that are coming to, because I don't have it that often, but I know there are 2 people that I know that I can think of off the top of my head who would always come to me for advice, but without 3 people, without the intentions of ever doing anything with me. And it was okay, because, you know, I wanted them to be able to get their finance together and stuff like that. So I did. One of them, I finally told me, don't ask me nothing else, because, you know, you're wasting my time, because I spent over an hour with you. Because my consult, you know, like Tiffany, when I sit down with people, we go in depth. I spend hours, you know, with people, you know, minimum an hour. And I just had to tell her, you know, you're going to have to ask your other financial advisor, because I'm not sitting down with you like this anymore. And finally they stopped. But what I want to ask is, how do you know who your target audience is? Those people are not my audience. Who is your target audience, and who are those people who are not going to waste your time?
The reason why I'm laughing, though, is because we had this conversation last night. And the conversation on the table was, she asked me, she wants to publish a book. And I said, okay. So she tells me she's not really ready yet. So I was like, okay, well, when you get ready, let me know. She was like, why you just can't tell me now? And I said, because you're not ready. When we talk, I want to be like, yep, I'm all ready to go. Let's go ahead and publish this, and let's get to some marketing. And so again, we were talking about different generations and how we work. And we were talking about our generations. We don't want to waste time. We need to know what's going on, how we can get it done, when it can be over, all these kind of stuff. Even tonight, Auntie Bree's like, we need to hop on 15 minutes. I'm like, oh, we only need 5 minutes. We just need to hop on and talk about this. We good. And so I think you also, like you said, it's important to look at different age ranges. But this is because we had this conversation yesterday. But yes, again, knowing who your target audience is important for your profile. So Deja, you talked about your clothing. Who is your ideal customer?
Okay,
in terms of age, in terms of style? How much money are they spending? Are they shopping at Louis Vuitton when they in Paris? What would be your ideal target audience for your clothes?
I'm gonna say the girls that be outside, not like I don't want to say, because I want to put it to where it's not. Like the Instagram baddies, I guess you can put it that way, because like the stuff I make is kind of on a more confident woman side. Like it's gonna show up.
Definitely confident.
How old are they, Deja? How old are they?
It can be from, I'm gonna say 20s to good. Depending the women these days, it can be 40s, maybe even 50s. it can range, but I feel like majority would probably be like 20s to 40s, maybe.
Okay. And how much money are they spending on a typical outfit?
Okay, so let me tell you, because it's so funny. I was just thinking about this. When I originally came out, I said, "Oh yeah, I'm gonna make a my business is gonna be affordable. It's gonna be for the girlies on a budget." Woo, woo, woo. But then when I start buying all the stuff, buying all the materials,
There you go.
I'm like, no. So it's not. I won't say it's. I don't think it's expensive, but it could be expensive to certain people. It's not. I won't say it's a budget friendly. It depends on what you get, because I do have stuff that could be on the cheaper side. But like if you want a custom outfit with feathers,
you off again.
Stones and all pearl, like you're not gonna spend $40 on that.
That's right. So, and I agree, Deja, because I sew, and I know how much in fabric is much more expensive than it used to be.
One pair of pants that I do have, the fabric alone cost me $8, and people be wanting to pay $50 for it. I'm like, I still got to make, like, I'm trying to make, and it's trying to be a business. Like, I'm trying to be able to live off me selling. So me selling this for $50 is not gonna work, y'all. And I think I try to be as reasonable as like, oh no, you should be charging way more than that. But I do understand that sometimes like it could get pricey. Like spending $100 and some on a pair of pants, everybody can't afford that. So that part I do understand as well too.
But that's the whole idea. So if you want something that everybody has, okay, so you're gonna have to go to Walmart or JCPenney's or something like that. But if you want something that's so I think Deja, someone is asking what's your website?
Designs by Dage, shopdesignsbydage.com.
So you can put it in the comment, Deja.
Yeah, put it in the Facebook comments.
Not on Facebook.
Yeah,
let me put it in there for you. We'll put it in there for you. We'll have her put it in there for you, Arlene, what her page is. Because her stuff is really, and maybe before we leave, we'll show you guys a little bit of it. Her stuff is custom designed. Nobody has it. It is stuff that she comes up with out of her head. She may get an inspiration from somebody, and like you will not see. My daughter has. I wish she was on here right now. My daughter wore a pair of pants.
You can change your background to show your.
Change to show you. Oh, I'll do it. I'll show you the outfit. She did something to Courtney. Come on and show them that thing. She did a pair of pants for Courtney, and when she went to Paris, she went to Fashion Week. Courtney was turning heads. Okay, they wanted to know who the designer was. They wanted to know, who was she. So that's the kind of stuff she does. That's the kind of things that she does. Courtney says it's for the girlies who enjoy fashion and invest. Okay, Arlene, you can read Courtney's comment. Courtney, post a picture of that. A picture of that for her.
Right, and that's huge to be in Paris talking about fashion, because there are world-renowned fashion designers in Paris. So absolutely, I think that that's a way. Again, once people start to wear your product, everybody like, well, who is this? Who is that? Can I get the number? Can I get the information? Right. That is great marketing, right? That's a great way again to support, and obviously can see who some of your audience is, because I would say because you said so Instagram baddies, would that be white? Would that be black? Would that be Hispanic? Or just
there is no demographic in that aspect. Like whoever, like as long as you comfortable and confident in it, that's what I make it for. Because like I said, it's definitely you're gonna show some skin. Like most of the, although I do custom orders, most of the stuff I make is a little revealing. Not too much, but it's revealing. So, but I don't care.
Tiffany, you keep going off screen. Your connection maybe. Okay, so here's another thing about business and entrepreneurship for me. Okay, so I'm of the older school generation, and I was thinking about that when we came on, because we had this conversation about what time we should come on. So she keeps going off screen. So I'm like, okay, you keep going off screen, but it doesn't matter to other people. But for me, because I'm older and like professionalism for me is something different than it is for you all. Your audience doesn't care about certain things, but for me, going off screen is like, oh my gosh, what,
Yes. Okay. So let's talk about this then. So let's address it then if we're gonna address it. So oftentimes as an entrepreneur, I kid you not, I am multitasking very much all the time. So if you guys want to know what's happening. Somebody came in the door, so I did have to open the door and go off screen. But yes, my audience is very much okay. We do these lives all the time. Usually I'm on board in the front, but I am multitasking a lot of the times. And that is also the life of an entrepreneur. And depending on who you are and how you, this is how I get a lot of stuff done. Unfortunately, this is how I roll. But let's move the conversation going. So yes, and Auntie Brittany, you can tell us a little bit more about your business as well and what you do and what your audience are, because we talked about this also last night.
Yeah, we did talk about that.
Who your target audience is.
Yeah, so unlike the two of you, mine is not a product, it's a service. So I'm in the financial professional services. I have, I contract with a couple of different companies. New York Life is my go-to because New York Life is just the best thing since sliced bread to me. But I'm not selling really New York Life. New York Life backs me up. I'm selling me because I'm, integral. I'm professional. I care about my clients and my target audience, really, because my focus is on making sure that people are okay in retirement and beyond. And everything that you do from the time that you start making money affects how you're going to live in retirement. If you're spending all of your money, you don't have any money in retirement. If you're saving your money, you're more likely to live comfortably in retirement. There are certain things and certain vehicles. There are new things that come out all the time that can help you do all of that. So my focus is retirement. So my target audience, my sweet spot is those that are pre-retiring, like right up to like 45 and older, because they are really, really on the brain. Retirement is on their mind. It is, am I making enough money? Do I have enough money? Am I going to So that's why my audience is that sweet spot. And Tiffany and I had the conversation of, well, what about other people who are younger, who are in retirement? Yes, they are. It's like I help everybody, but the sweet spot is them because they are ready and willing to listen, and they're ready to do what the services that we provide. However, it's like I told her, it's like fishing for bass. If I'm going out to the ocean and I'm fishing for bass, I might catch something else in my net because there are other things swimming around the bass. So I may have a client, for instance, I have had, always have clients. Every time we finish, thank you so much. This was really helpful. I can see clearly now. And they refer me to other people. So they may refer me to their son, their daughter, their niece. So I have younger clients, but it's because of the older clients who understand how important this stuff is that I get the other ones. Now, I do have younger clients because I bug them to death about protecting themselves and their families, but I don't make as much money servicing those types of clients. And I'm in business just like everybody else is. Yes, I want to help everybody, but at some point I have to find people who are willing and ready to make retirement their priority. And they're ready to do what they need to do to make sure they are okay and their family is okay. So, because I'm telling you, I promise you, I can have clients who, spend $100 a month, and those are the clients that I put the most work in because they ain't paying their bills. So I have to chase them down. Hey, you didn't pay your bill this month, or hey, you know what I mean. And it's for $100 commission. But if I put more time into the other people and then just let them just catch the others as I can, then I can live too. Because this is my only career. I have to live too. So I can't chase $100 a month commission when, I can have an $8,000 commission over here or $1,000 commission over here if I put the effort into them. But so that's my sweet spot.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Oh, no, it makes sense. You just kind of went out a little bit, but I do want to acknowledge our people that have been. I want to acknowledge our people a minute just to say hello. Hey, Gary. And if you're an entrepreneur, please come on and ask questions while you're on here. So hey, Gary, how are you? Hey, Courtney, how are you? I think you read this, Auntie Frida, but I love this definition that she gave for Deja. It's for the girls who enjoy fashion and invest in their wardrobe, invest in custom designs. The girlies who want to see themselves on every Instagram feed because their pieces are unique, honey. Go ahead, Courtney.
Tell her I'm using that. I'm taking that, Courtney. That is going to be in the bio.
I was like, Deja, I think you need to copy that real quick. Right. See, this is why we on here. We helping each other out. And hey, Arlene, how are you? It's Dej by Designs, is at DAG Designs, correct?
Designs by Dej. DAJ.
Is that
It's
Instagram?
I mean, I don't know if they have Instagram. I'm mainly on Instagram.
Yeah,
Designs
they
by
have
Deja.
Instagram, so make sure you put it on the Facebook, Deja, so that they can go directly to it. Because sometimes hearing it is a little bit different. And hey, Denise, how are you? So if you
Okay.
guys, we have about 8 people looking at this live. Go ahead and ask us questions. What are your entrepreneur questions? While you have us on here, go ahead and take the opportunity to ask us questions. We welcome questions. Okay.
Something I wanted to address, Tiffany, before you leave, since I'm on here and I'm, the financial professional, and I know that people get sick and tired of us, calling them, doing things, setting up things. But as entrepreneurs, I'm working with Steve Ellis, who is the owner of Untouchable Academy. This has become a target for me because of him right now, and still that same age range, but anybody who is an entrepreneur, especially those that are in the beauty and fashion industry that are doing things on their own. What he says is that they spend so much time making money but not reporting it to the IRS, but then they don't know how to save it. And most beauticians, most people in the beauty industry end up broke by the time of retirement. So that's one of the things that we're targeting right now, to make sure that they understand that they don't have to end up broke. There are things that they can do to not be broke when it comes to retirement, and also to get out of the business. They have a struggle, and entrepreneurs and business owners never really think about, how do I exit this business, stop doing this and still make money, right? So those are some of the things that we do. And I want everybody on here, entrepreneurs, especially those of us who are in business for ourselves, that are not on a 9-to-5, or that do a 9-to-5 part-time and don't have those benefits. Think about what you're going to do when the money stops. Or if you can't work anymore, what happens? If you get injured and can't do your job, what happens? Those are the things that I really, really, really want you guys to think about. Don't put that stuff off.
I was like, well, that's an important conversation anyway, too, because we saw with COVID, we were all stopped. So if that's not an example right there, then that's to show you that stuff can dry up all at the same time. Because even in the travel industry, I was planning for a group of 15. I was like, nobody knew what COVID was. So it was like, oh yeah, by the end of the month, we'll be fine. We going to Colombia. Yeah, we wasn't going nowhere for the next 2 years. So I was like, well, how can we pivot in different things like that? Hey, Gwen. Hey, Tasha. So that is important to think about your life savings like that. Because again, we don't know what's down the road. And that's even not only for entrepreneurs. You have celebrities you see go bankrupt because they didn't save and different things like that. So it's not just for the everyday person as well. It is for the celebrities. And that's why it's good to have financial advisors, retirement, different things like that. All of those things are super, super important. I do want to switch the conversation to like branding. So the question begs, like, who is the face of your brand? We kind of talked about Target.
Right.
So who is, because some people say, well, what if I don't want to be the face of my brand? Or what if I am the face of the brand? Do you want to be the person? So, for example, I was going to say for Deja, you're the face of the brand because you're your ideal target market.
I like no choice.
Which is funny. And once we answer this question, as a matter of fact, before we start that conversation, because I asked for people to ask questions, I have a couple of questions on the board. So let's go ahead and get with them, and then we'll go into that question. So they just save that comment. And we're gonna go to Arlene's
question.
Huh?
Arlene's question. Is that the one you see? Yeah, she says, when finding your accountability partner, did you ask more than one person? Did you do some trial and error to find the person who was the right fit for you? Did you look for someone who had more experience than you did, or who were at the same point in their journey? In other words, how did you find the right fit? Who was your accountability?
Arlene, that is a wonderful question. It was a bunch of questions in one. I'm going to try to answer it all. So for me, when I look for my accountability partner, actually, we were all in the social media space. At that particular time, I was doing blogging. One person was doing YouTubing and the other person was doing podcasting, right? So although we were doing different things, it actually worked out because, again, when I was on her podcast, then I became audience of hers. When they were on my YouTube channel, they became audiences of each other. So we also created a web. And so if I had a YouTube video, they would post it on their podcast or something like that. So I think we exchanged a lot of information. And did I ask more than one person? No, I think one person asked me and I asked the other person, and the three of us were formed, right? So I do think sometimes it just works, which that particular situation, it just worked. But then I've had where it didn't work out so well. So sometimes, but it is good to find somebody in your niche, or if it's not in your niche, somebody that is also in entrepreneurship. Because even though me and Auntie Frida are not in the same space, we can still share tips and ideas about entrepreneurship or marketing. Maybe she knows something that I don't, or knows somebody that I don't know. So I would say first be in your niche. So if Deja was looking for another fashion designer, hers could be another fashion designer, or it could be somebody that's into marketing. She needs marketing. They don't got to be in fashion. They can tell her, hey, this is what you need to do to get more customers, right? So it depends on a bunch of different things. It can be a trial and error. It can be an interview. If you need to do an interview, if you need to say, hey, let's see if we can do 3 months. Oh, this is not working. Okay, I'm going to step back. So that is one of the ways that you find the accountability partner. And I will say, make sure that you guys, so what we did was we were just on Facebook. We chatted throughout the month, but at least once a month, we actually got on a phone call so that we can talk. But we were constantly chatting throughout the week. We would share resources. Hey, did you apply for this grant? Did you apply for this opportunity? So there are a bunch of different things that you can do to find that particular person. So Arlene, let me know if I answered that question for you. Hey, Ebony, how are you? Great question.
Let me say this too. And one thing that's very important when we're looking for accountability partners, they don't necessarily have to be in the same field that you're in. So it doesn't have to be somebody so for me, it doesn't have to be another insurance agent or somebody that's in finances. It's just somebody who will hold you accountable and make sure you're doing what you're doing. If you tell them, like, Sandra Townsend, if they're listening, Sandra Townsend and Felicia Lee, they have nothing to do with the industry that I am. But Sandra's always like, what are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing? So it doesn't have to be somebody that is in that industry. And sometimes it just happen. They for me, when I start holding people or seeing people, my thing is I just see women who are trying to make it and I try to help them. So it could be but you need to, go ahead. I'm sorry.
The other thing I was going to say, make sure you're making goals. So if that's a weekly goal, if that's a monthly goal, because next week, Deja going to ask me, Tiffany, did you apply for that grant? I'll be looking silly like, I ain't apply. So the accountabilities actually make you do the work because somebody gonna ask you about it. And you want to be able to give them a profitable answer. And sometimes when we're just with ourselves, we can say, okay. And the reason why I use grants and resources, because I'm always applying for those, I don't have to keep myself accountable. I'd be like, oh shoot, I forgot. But if my accountability, and if it's 2 or 3, y'all like lick side eye me, I'm probably going to be more likely to do it. Okay, Deja, you want to answer? Or you want to say something on that one?
I was disagreeing.
Okay.
And what we need to do, Tiffany, you and I, is hold Deja accountable to go in the FITM. You need to get the FITM, girl. You really need to get the FITM.
I know.
No.
I'm telling you, I feel like I need to be on the other side of this conversation. Because
no, you need to be on this side of the conversation.
No, I was telling her that too, like accountability part, because I feel like it's a whole lot of stuff that I know I should be doing or I need to do, and I just.
But let me ask you this though, even though with the stuff that, because we can also talk about the stuff that we don't do, because let me tell you, I could be making so much more money than I make, but I don't do the things that I need to do it, right? And so I really honestly a lot of times treat my business like a 9 to 5, because when you have your own business, you can't treat your business like it's a 9 to 5. You work all the time. Right. And what I do is when people start to kind of tell me, oh, you working too much, you're doing this too much, I tend to kind of back off and slow up. But I want to ask you this question just to help you understand that, you shouldn't be on the other side. What even got you into, why did you even start doing what you do and start doing it for other people?
When I say honestly, it just came off a whim. Like it was just haphazardly. It was like y'all said, during the pandemic when everything shut down, I was still working. So I didn't shut down. I was at the post office at the time, and I just I did not like being there. I'm like, this can't be it. So then I'm like, all right, what can I do? What I like doing? And then I decided, like, all right, I'm gonna go try to make bathing suits. I don't know how to sew. I know nothing about sewing, nothing about nothing. So let me go try. I think I tried to do the manufacturer route. It was just too expensive. Like, I think for them to do 2 designs on a bikini, it was like $5,000. And of course, at the time, I'm like, yeah, no, I'm not trying to pay that. So let me go find a seamstress and try to go that route. I did that. Hated it. I just didn't like how it looked. It wasn't. So then that's why I'm like, let me try to see if I can do it myself. I did it. I liked it. I'm like, oh, I can do this. So let me see what else I can do. So I feel like at first when I first started, it was just to see if I could do it. And then once I could do it, and people was like, oh no, that's cute. You did that. You did. I'm like, oh, I like that. Oh, let me see what else I can. So I feel like that's honestly how I got started. Like it was never no dream, no nothing. Like it was just let me see if I can do it. I did it. People liked it. I liked it. And then it was once I started doing it, then it became a passion. Like I feel like I always had like a passion for fashion, but I never tried to make money off of it. Like
Deja, use that line too.
Use that line.
I like Deja, you have a question on the floor. Deja, they're loving you right now. You got all the questions. So Ebony says Jacob wore his original design pants by Deja. A lady loved them, and Jacob wanted to give more info. How can they give more info? Do you have a scanner or a barcode?
No.
Asking for a barcode.
Not a little QR codes on it. I just don't
QR code. Yeah.
Oh, we're gonna show you how to do that. That's so super easy. Super easy.
Somebody did ask you about it, and I just totally forgot. But somebody did something to ask you.
Yes, but I was like, Deja, that's the digital world. Some of those things you do have to catch up because people are like, "How do we get to you?" I have my phone ready to scan. That is the new big thing, and that QR code can lead them to your name, your phone number, your email address, everything to go online and just automatically shop. So these are the things that you need to have in place. And yeah, somebody can definitely help you with it. And Arlene said, I think she was saying that's interesting of kind of how you got got started.
Yeah, that's why I be telling people I feel like that's another thing back to. I'm like, if you feel like you got a dream or whatever, like just do it. Like you never know what you can do until you do it. Because when I say y'all, like no, I had no sewing experience, and everything I do is self-taught. Like I'm a YouTube University student. Okay, I learned everything from YouTube.
That's a resource, and as a YouTuber, I make videos, and the videos that do really well, the tutorial videos, because people want to come to learn how to do certain things. So yours was kind of on the whim. I would say for me, for the travel, where I started off as a solo traveler. And so I love a good solo travel. I don't need nobody to go with me. I don't need to tell nobody, let's go. And there are many reasons why I love solo travel, but because people kept saying, well, Tiffany, I want to travel with you, blah, blah, blah. I said, okay, well, let's go. Let's see how serious you are. Because people will say all the time they're serious and they really ain't that serious. So that's how we started doing the day trips to Rosarito. I'm like, how can we get other women together that may be afraid to go across the border to Tijuana? That's a scary thing. And I'm like, I do it. I go by myself. I was like, what? You go by yourself? Okay. And it was funny because I laugh at the women. I say, y'all don't know me. Y'all just hopped in the car. We could be doing anything in Mexico. And then they all laugh about it. And I'm like, no, I got y'all. Y'all safe with me. But the point is bringing other people together. And my thing is, I love culture. So I want to show people how I travel. The same way I create my solo travels, how I create my group trips. There's team no sleep. I'm sorry. If you want to sleep and relax, don't come on my vacation. Because every day we are doing something new. We're learning. We're up and we have some early mornings, late nights. And we're going to have a good time. And I want to send you home tired and full of culture and fun and all that good stuff, right? And so that is one of the passion. That is one of the reasons why I started my travel business. And then the books, again, came out of the pandemic. When we could not travel to Colombia, what can I create at that time? So I remember we were in Walmart. Remember they had them long lines where nobody could go and you had to wait outside. We was in Walmart and I told Mom, I'm going to create a book. I know she probably looked at me like, what? Okay, she probably forgot all about it. But that's the reason how that came about. Because I'm like, how do we bring travel into people's homes without going anywhere because we couldn't? And so that is the reason how we started those two things. And then just the social thing. I'm considered a micro influencer, whatever that means, because I only have 5,000 followers on Instagram and only 13,000 on Facebook. So I'm still considered a smaller influencer, but the smaller influencer, those are the ones you should pay attention to, because people are always, well, Tiffany, where should I go and eat at? Where should I go instead? Those are the people that are actually listening to me versus some of the bigger followers. So again, when we talk about creating things, it could come on a whim, it could be a dream of yours, whatever it is, you just have to begin and start to create it and then put the product out there. And even if you think people aren't paying attention, I promise you, people watch me all the time. Now they don't say nothing. I don't know because they don't say nothing. But if they see me out in these streets, oh, Tiffany, I saw that post, or oh, who was the guy that picked you up that day? Oh, you watching? Oh, okay. So it's important that we just put the information out there. And then Ebony said they say, I don't know, something can create. So the point is to just begin to create whatever it is you have a vision for, or if it just starts off as a hobby.
So for me, let me because and my story is a little bit different from theirs, even though I do I'm like the both of you in terms of the things that I do. People call me the entrepreneur. Somebody calls me the jack of all trades, but the master of none. I didn't necessarily master anything until I got to, this financial stuff, the insurance piece of it, because I used to sew, I used to do all of that kind of stuff, and it was just because I wanted to know how to do it. But I've always had an entrepreneurial spirit all of my life. I remember as a child, like, you guys don't know this because you don't pick up a magazine and read magazines anymore, but in magazines was where we got all of our advertisement, magazines and newspapers. So in the magazines, they would have these opportunities to sell stuff. So I would I ordered glasses with my grandmother's name on it, and when I was going to go sell them, I must have been 8 years old. And I know that, like, when I was 12 or 13 or younger than that, I ordered these makeup kits and I was going to go door to door selling them, stuff like that. But I got into this business because someone sold me an insurance policy, and I was working for the county. I was an eligibility worker, and working for the county, they asked me, can you give me referrals? And I thought about it. I said, first I started thinking who I could refer. And then I go, I know a lot of people. And I said, no, hang on a minute. I went and got my insurance license. I said, I'll get my insurance license. Then I'll give you referrals, because that way you can pay me commission, So that's how I got into the business. And one thing led to another. When I got into it, I found out that people really didn't know a lot about what they were doing and how they were doing it. And then you see things, you see tragedies, you see how people get taken advantage of. And Sister Broom, Lisa Broom's mom, we decided that we were going to partner and do some stuff to just teach people, what different things were, just life insurance. That's how we started. And it grew into that. But it's like you guys say, you don't all the time necessarily have to just know a lot to get started. You just got to have a desire and a passion to do something and just start there. Just have enough courage to just start there.
Yeah, I'll agree with that. I'm like, just starting this, no matter. That's what I'll be telling even like my friends, like, Lil, I want to do that. I'm like, just do it. Like, because you're not gonna never have it all figured out or know everything when you first starting off. So I definitely believe in that. Like, whatever you want to do, just start and doing it. Then I feel like because that's what happened with me. Like, once I start doing it, then I start figuring it out as I go along. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you do this. Oh, okay, that's how you do this. It might be a couple trial and error in between, like I messed up, but now I know not to do it that way. Or you know what I'm saying? So I think you just gotta start.
And the cool thing about 2023 is that we are in a great time right about now. And the reason why I say that is because for entrepreneur people that want to be visible, authors, 20 years ago, nobody would probably sign me to do a HBCU book about coloring and activities. They'd be like, nope, we're not giving it. Your publisher's like, no, absolutely not. But because we can create our own thing, we can self-publish, we can put ourselves on the TV, we can put ourselves on a YouTube channel. This is the best time because you don't have to ask people for permission to do anything now.
Right.
So if this is what you want to do, this is the greatest time to do that now. I have a question on the table. It says, have you thought of teaching how to be a travel agent course or how to organize group trip coaching course for a fee, of course? Arlene, I love you already. You mentioned that fee.
That's
yes.
Right.
And the reason why this is a good question is because although I don't really do group trip consultations, this is where I get another stream of income. So that's not part of what I do right now. I just offer book stuff. But if there's somebody that says, hey, I want a consultation, then I'm like, okay, let's put that on the list of things to do. So you can definitely, so one thing can create other streams of income. As an author, I can be a speaker, I can be a publisher, I can sell merchandise. So one thing leads to another, which is again why we go back to that same step of just doing it at beginning.
Let's stay right there, Tiffany, about streams of income, because this is kind of important. Because if you watch Shark Tank, those guys are already wealthy. They have successful businesses, but they're always looking for something else to do. So when you're an entrepreneur, your business, you always want to be looking for something else that's your business can, that you can do, that your business can do. People who have figured this stuff out, I love your cousin, Tanisha. Tanisha started, she's doing multiple things because she has just figured it out. I can put my money to use this way. And then after I do that, I can put my money to use this way. So just keep, if you think about it, what does, so like Tiffany said, her travel, brought about a book. Deja's like, I'm going to start with swimsuits. Then she realized, okay, people need cover-ups for these swimsuits. Oh, some people like this for that. So
a little handbag to go with it.
Exactly. I have to go with it. Right. So it's like when you come into entrepreneurship, don't think that one thing is going to, every now and then you do have somebody who has that one thing that makes them rich. Like I listen to Mark Cuban all the time, and he says that it took him 5 years to be an overnight success. And what he meant by that, he just kept grinding. And then one day he had that one client that put him over the top, that one thing that put him over the top. But then he realized that there was so much more that he could do. Like, it's like a tree branch. Trees don't have like one branch. They have all these branches. And that's how entrepreneurship has to be in order for you to survive.
And the thing about... Go ahead.
No, then gonna talk about the work, because people think that customers are just gonna come.
No. Absolutely. And I was like, and this is why you have to keep going at it, right? Do not get discouraged if year one you don't sell very much. And I will say that because year one we did Ghana, we had 4 people. Okay. Year 2 and 3, COVID. Okay. So that halted everything. The next time, I think I had a group of 3 for Colombia. The next time I had a group of 1. That wasn't even a group, okay? Now ask me, how many do we have for 2023? We have a group of 20 people going. So had I given up and the 4, the 3, and the 1, because I said with the 1, she was one of the best clients I've ever had. Shout out to Erica. But I said, I'm not coming back to Ghana. I said, I'm over this. But I guess God had other plans to bring 20 people back. But the point is, you cannot stop when it looks like it's not working. Okay.
Right.
Because the minute it looks like it's not working, the minute you give up, I know you guys seen that picture where he's hitting the wall and it just seems like he never gets through. He stops and he has only this much to go. So that is a testament that you have to keep going. And even for the books, I shout out to Delana. Came through and swept and bought 100. That's the biggest order I've ever gotten on books. Mind you, it took 2 years to get to 500 sold, and in one day at a book signing, we got 100 books sold. So it's again a testament. These are just ways to see that you guys have to keep going, right? And do not get discouraged, because again, and I think you mentioned about steady talking to people. They may not buy nothing today, but they may buy something. I have somebody pick up 100. I've been talking to her for 2 years and nothing moved. But now we on year 2 and I'm dropping off 100. So this is what I mean about not stopping or continue. I ain't gonna say harass people, but continuously
keep talking to them.
Conversations, sending those emails, sending those phone calls. And sometimes it's not about, again, the product, it's about building relationships. Because
right.
if we're listening to this conversation, Deja, you talk to, I don't know, somebody, they don't buy something, that next Paris trip or London trip that they going for something, they may need an outfit for every single day. You're going to be busy. You're like, oh, okay, let me get this going. It may not be just that one outfit. So again, this is a testament to make sure you're building relationships and keep it going. So we're already at 103.
1 hour. Yeah. Wait, one thing. Don't burn bridges, you guys. Don't get mad at people. I mean, I have gotten mad a couple of times. I can't lie, but don't get mad at people because you never know that the person that you get mad at. We in our industry, we have a saying: a no is not a no is just a not now. It's not a no forever. It's a not now. Not right now. I keep bugging Deja. Deja keeps saying, but I know that's not right now. You know what I mean? Because people, like Tiffany said, it's just something I don't need right now. It's something I don't want right now. But after a point, especially in my industry, it's like I can look down the road and say, okay, I know that you don't see it right now, but we're going to get down the road and you're going to wish you had done it right now. But that's okay, because I'm still going to try to help you then. It's going to be more expensive, but I'll try to help you, still. And the same thing with like you were saying now, y'all better get me now because later it's going to be more expensive. But hey, I'm willing to still work with you. But you still have to, and they will, because they understand the value. You know what I mean? And if we don't get mad and get pushy, just keep doing it. Because honestly, you can't focus on this person right here because 5 more people are waiting for you over here. So if you get stuck right here, you're going to miss the 5 that's waiting.
Absolutely. So we have been on here for an hour and 4 minutes. Okay. So I see 9 people are watching us. So that's still a lot of people. So I don't know who's watching from my side, but my audience really loves live. So shout out to my audience. I don't come on here every time, but the times I come on here, y'all show me so much love and y'all rock with me the entire time. So before we get up out of here, I'm going to give y'all a chance. We're going to take like 2 minutes. We'll keep talking, but we want your last and final questions before we get off. Any questions that you have for us, 3 entrepreneurs at 3 different stages doing 3 different things. So definitely ask your questions. Hey, Miss Cecilia, ask your questions. We'll give everybody a couple minutes to come on. And I think we put Deja's information. A lot of people were asking about that. And then also, put your information as well.
I see Siriaka Yolanda in there, and thank you for Angela. I haven't seen Angela in so long. Angela over on Facebook, my friend Siriaka is on here. She's a fellow New York Life agent who is doing her own thing in health and nutrition for women for senior women. So shout out to her because she's still doing something. I think Siriaka, tell us your age. I think Siriaka must be 70 now. And she's still rocking and doing exercise and teaching people how to take care of themselves.
I will say, so as we're waiting or we're seeing people, if they have any more questions, I want Deja to think of one of your last thoughts. Auntie Frida, think of one of your last thoughts if we don't have any more questions. And I don't see any right now. So Deja, I'm going to start off with you. So tell us any last thoughts. And again, tell us where they can find you. And you keep saying you're on the other side. So tell us something that you learned tonight by being on stage tonight. So there's a lot of things there's 3 things I just asked of you. So you have the floor.
Okay. So what I will say at the end of the conversation is if you get into entrepreneurship or if you want to, I feel like just do it. Like stop trying to second guess it. Stop doubting yourself. Stop just whatever and just do it. And I feel like you're probably not gonna know how to do it or what. But taking that one step, I promise you, like the next step will come apart. Because when I tell you I had no experience, like none whatsoever, and for people to be coming to asking me like, "Oh, can you make my birthday outfit? Can you make this?" Like that is so crazy to me. I'm like, "Oh, me, thank you, no problem." So that's my thing for that. Just keep going. What I've learned now is that I need to be. I think I need to be not build better relationships, but just need to put myself more out there. Like I need to be more. Just because I feel like now I won't say it's like word of mouth, but I'm not as promoting or as putting as much marketing as I should. So I feel like I've definitely learned that. I learned that I need an accountability partner because listen, I need somebody to help me account. And what was the last one, Tiffany? I'm not sure. I said 3, but I can't remember.
And how can they find? Where can they follow you? How can they purchase a custom made outfit?
Yes.
So this is your final promote who you are.
Okay, so I can be found on Instagram as Designs by Dej. That is Designs by DAJ. Or I have a website at Shop Designs by Dej, spelled the same exact way. If you want my email is the same. Everything is the same. It's all the designs by Dej at gmail.com. If you want to email me.
And I think she's trying to put your link in there because it'll be easier for people
Yes,
to
please.
press the link.
Yeah, so I can't do it myself, but if somebody can, I think if Courtney's still on here, Courtney, can you please do it? I know she knows it.
Okay, Auntie Frida, you have the floor.
Yeah, for me, I'm just really, really interested in making sure that, you know, not just people with money and people, you know, who are on the 9 to 5, but my concern for entrepreneurs is that you make your financial situation your priority. And I know people get quiet when we start talking about finances and the things that we ought to do because people don't think that they can do it, or they've come across people who are pushy and try to get them into situations that they really can't afford to be. That's not me. My concern is that you really, really think about all of this stuff. Think about your finances. Think about your situation. Think about who you need to protect. Think about how, if something happens to you, what are you going to do? Are you going to be stuck? You know, just think about all of that. And then the last thing is the entrepreneur. I want to encourage you guys. That's why I come up with these things, and that's why I want to get on here and do this, because I really want you to know that you can make it. I want you to know that you can do this. As women, we need to stick together. We need to encourage one another. I don't mind giving of my advice for free. I don't mind just you calling me and saying, hey, this is going on, or somebody said this to me, and I want to know for sure is that, you know, that's how it is. I don't mind you reaching out to me and having me review stuff and, you know, not do anything. Just do it sincerely. Don't do it to take advantage of me. That's all. That's all I ask. But my information is also in the chat. You know, I'm very knowledgeable. Been in this business for over 25 years. I have clients who are very, very loyal. You know, I'm just that person who is integral. But I want you guys as entrepreneurs to know that all you have to do is do it. All you got to do is do it. Just keep doing it. You know what I mean?
Okay. So for me, my advice is to apply for resources, grants, opportunities. I apply for so many things, right? And if you're following on Facebook, I post about these things because I want to encourage you to do the same. Even if you think that you're not going to get it. I guess I'm not going to talk about the opportunity until next month. I will tell you all what happened. Well, I'll tell you this quick story really quickly. I applied for something, didn't think I was going to get it, didn't think I was didn't think they were looking for me, right? Well, I got the email that they were looking for me and I got the opportunity, right? And it is one of the hugest, I would say, opportunities within the travel space for me thus far. And it's all because even though I think that they didn't want me, I still applied. And so that's the thing. You have to put yourself out there, because let's say you apply for 10 things, maybe you only get 2, but those 2 things may be super awesome. I feel super blessed for 2023 because I'm in incubators, I'm in marketing this, I'm in that. I am just in so many things, but it's all to grow my business. It's all to learn. I want to keep learning because I still have a lot more to go. I want to keep scaling. I want to grow. It's funny though, because I'm not a money person. I know that sounds weird because I'm an entrepreneur. But I was talking to a financial person and he was like, yeah, look at what you're going to make for this year. He was like, you're going to have to actually do stuff because the IRS is going to come and look it for you if you don't spend this money. But when he said it, kind of blew my mind because I'm like, wait, are we scaling this much? Like, I didn't even pay attention. And this is why it's good to talk to people, because me and my finite mind is like not really paying attention. And so, again, I say all that to say is to get into these different courses and stuff like that. There are so many programs out there willing to help out women-owned entrepreneur businesses, okay? And then out of that, you get your accountability partner. You get this, you got that. One of the programs in the laptop I'm using, it was a free laptop through Microsoft. Yeah, I want to be in that program. So this is the thing, what I'm saying about my last advice is to apply for any and all of the programs. Again, you can find me at hughesofafrica.com. Again, my name is Tiffany Harrod. You're already on my page, so you're following me. I am now not accepting free consultations, but you can still reach out to me if you are interested in just entrepreneur resources, group consultations, or book consultations. Okay.
One of the things that you said, Tiffany, I know we're done, but the thing that you said, and this is what you guys, I promise you really need to have a conversation with me. When he said to her, IRS is coming after you. This is the stuff that we try to help you understand. And this is why we do what we do. This is why we advise you the way we do. We don't want you to have to pay more taxes than you have to pay. People with money, they don't worry about, dying and not leaving anything. They worry about IRS taxes. They worry about taxes. That's what people with money worry about, taxes. They don't have that's why you find them giving away so much stuff. They worry about taxes.
They need a tax write-off too. Yeah, absolutely. Conversations about money. We can go all night. And I promise you my audience will still be on here if we was on here for another hour. But it is dinner time for me. I cooked before I came on here and I didn't get a chance to eat.
But thank you, ladies. Thank you, Tiffany, for agreeing to come on and talk to us. Thank you, Deja. I had to talk to Deja. Come on, Deja. But she agreed. Courtney would be here if she had just gotten off work. Courtney has a full-time job in addition to all the other stuff she does in school and all of that, so she didn't come on with us. But yeah, I appreciate these ladies. These are you guys, this is my family. These are my nieces. Like we said earlier, we're family. We're a family of entrepreneurs, and we try to go hard at it. And these two ladies right here, look for them to do big things. They're already doing them.
Hey, cousin Billy's on the line. He's another entrepreneur.
Yeah,
we should have Billy on this conversation. He sells his cars like ain't nobody's business.
Yeah, but we're talking about women today, though. It's Women's Month.
Okay,
We'll get him on.
Okay, sorry, Billy. I tried to plug you in. I tried to plug you in. And then Arlene is giving us a hand clap. Again, thank you so much. Again, these lives are very fun when you all come on and ask questions. So y'all see how my audience does. We usually talk about travel stuff. So they are ready to come on and ask those questions. So so I appreciate you all coming on here. Again, go ahead and follow these ladies. If you like something that you heard tonight or interested in their products or their services, definitely go ahead and check them out on their websites and on Instagram and of course on their Facebook. Okay.
The next time we get together, Tiffany is going to come on to our Business and Professional Women's, and she is going to talk about marketing. So next time, look for that. She's going to talk about marketing. Okay. But that's going to be on a private setting on Zoom. So you guys look for that information. Come on. You see, she's a wealth of knowledge, but that's where we're going to have her next.
Yes, so sign up for those additional. Can anybody join that one, or
anybody can join it? I just like to have it in a controlled environment so that we can actually talk it out. They can actually ask questions on live, But I like to have those on like a private session so that we can kind of edit out and control everything.
Okay, Arlene, we'll let you know. Arlene may be interested in something like that. So again, if you are watching this later on, hit the replay button. You'll find a bunch of different nuggets. And I think we on the West Coast are hungry, and on the East Coast, it may be time for y'all to go to sleep. So wherever you are in the world, we appreciate you for coming on tonight, and peace.
Bye, guys.
Okay, don't leave, Tab.